The New York Giants have retained Thomas McGaughey to be their special teams coordinator under new head coach Joe Judge. I am John Schmeelk. He is Lance Medow. And Lance, I guess it probably shouldn't come as a surprise the Giants decide to retain McGaughey. The Giants' special teams have been very, very effective for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's been one of the most consistent units over the last few years, and McGaughey, I think, is a big reason why. Aldrick Rosas, a Pro Bowl season in 2018, John, that's something that comes to mind. And, I mean, just think about the continuity that he's had to deal with, the challenges, a lot of different personnel, yet despite that, the coverage and the return game has been able to thrive.
Yeah, in 2019 alone, 4th in punt return average, 10th in kick return, #1 kick coverage, tied for 5th in punt coverage. Just very good across the board. And they've had just some real big standouts in special teams as well. Michael Thomas has been a very good special teams player. And this year, the emergence of Cody Core as a gunner on punts along with Antonio Hamilton, difference makers in that part of the game.
Well, those 3 guys, I think, in particular, certainly are worthy of noting. And keep in mind, when you make a 53-man roster, John, you don't necessarily have the luxury to just have 3 guys that are going to play special teams. They need to contribute in a variety of areas. Now, the thing that you mentioned about those 3 players is they contribute to not just one special teams unit, but they contribute to multiple. Plus, Michael Thomas has chipped in on the defensive side of the ball. Cody Core has experience as a wide receiver, and Antonio Hamilton, a defensive back.
And you mentioned Aldrick Rosas' Pro Bowl year in 2018, 2019. Not as good of a year, but they had to deal with some changes with the long snapper position, and they had to deal with that over the course of the year. And he did close the season strong.
He did, and that does go to, once again, the point that Thomas McGaughey has had to sort of oversee and manage a lot of different personnel. And if there's anybody, John, that can relate to that, it's the head coach, Joe Judge. Think about it. He's been a special teams coordinator. He understands the importance of having somebody on staff with a lot of experience that knows within the span of a few days, he may have to get somebody ready to be a long snapper. He may have to get somebody ready to be the holder for the quarterback or for the kicker or whatever it may be. You've got to be able to react on the fly, and I think McGaughey has proven that over the last few seasons.
And the Patriots had to actually switch place kickers midseason this
indeed.
year, going to Nick Folk. So something else you take in consideration. We didn't mention Riley Dixon, who really is developing into one of the top punters in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, that's another acquisition that was brought in. And remember, when Riley Dixon joined the Giants, he was still very young and raw. And Thomas McGaughey, just like Aldrick Rosas, is responsible for grooming him. I mean, think about field positioning and field coverage and the distance that opponents had to go throughout the course of this season. I think that is attributed to what Riley Dixon did as a punter this season.
And finally, just an impressive resume, too. He was here with the Giants as an assistant special teams coach from 2007 to 2010. Since then, LSU, the Jets, the 49ers, and the Panthers as a special teams coordinator before coming back to the Giants. So a wealth of experience that he can impart to this team and, of course, help the head coach Joe Judge.
Well, and that goes back to, once again, the theme we've seen across the NFL, John. You have a first-time head coach in Joe Judge. It's good if you can lean on an experienced coordinator who has been there and done that. And I think the fact that he's been exposed to a variety of different players certainly should help his cause here moving forward.
He's Lance Medow. I'm John Schmeelk. Thomas McGaughey back as the Giants special teams coordinator.
Hey, Giants fans. Saquon Barkley here. You want to see more videos? Subscribe below.